Okay, so I don't know what this means, but the U.S. has backed a UN resolution for a ceasefire in Gaza. I don't know. Is this going to happen? Is this real? I don't know. Doesn't seem like Israel is into this very much. They kind of want to, they want to put an end to this, you know, to the whole conflict there. And I think in their estimation, the only way to do it is to end Hamas. But I don't know how you can do that. So this whole thing is just crazy. But let me read this article. This is CBC. I'm giving a little something back to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation here. Garbage dumpster fire up here in Canada. But let's see what they have to say. So, UN Security Council endorses U.S.-backed resolution for Gaza ceasefire. The United Nations Security Council on Monday approved its first resolution endorsing a ceasefire plan aimed at ending the 8-month war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The U.S.-sponsored resolution welcomes a ceasefire proposal announced by President Joe Biden that the United States says Israel has accepted. Yeah, doesn't mean they're really have accepted, but anyways. Calls on the militant Palestinian group Hamas, which initially said it viewed the proposal positively, to accept the 3-phase plan. The resolution, which was approved overwhelmingly with 14 of the 15 Security Council members voting in favor and Russia abstaining, also calls on Israel and Hamas to fully implement its terms without delay and without condition. Hamas responded to the adoption by saying it welcomed the resolution and was ready to work with mediators in indirect negotiations with Israel to implement it. This all sounds nice. Sounds good. But this happens a lot where they do this and then nothing actually happens. So we'll see how this goes. But the statement was among the strongest from Hamas to date, but stressed the group would continue our struggle to end the Israeli occupation and work on setting up a fully sovereign Palestinian state. Of course, they always say this. It's the same thing, right? That's why I'm saying it's unlikely it's going to do much of anything, but we'll see. Linda Thomas-Greenfield, U.S. ambassador to the UN, said after the vote that the council sent a clear message to Hamas to accept the ceasefire deal on the table, reiterating that Israel has accepted the deal, which is supported by countries around the world. The fighting could stop today if Hamas would do the same, she told the council. I repeat, this fighting could stop today. U.S. Deputy Ambassador Robert Wood told reporters earlier on Monday that the U.S. wanted all 15 Security Council members to support what he described as the best, most realistic opportunity to bring at least a temporary halt to this war. Whether Israel and Hamas agree to the 3-phase ceasefire plan remains in question, but the resolution's strong support in the UN's most powerful body puts added pressure on both parties to approve the proposal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Biden presented only parts of the proposal and insisted that any talk of a permanent ceasefire before dismantling Hamas military and governing capabilities is a non-starter. So that's what I was talking about. So obviously, they do this thing where they go, we're going to do a ceasefire. But of course, all it takes is one idiot from Hamas to shoot a rocket. Done. And if realistically, if Israel says, no, we don't feel safe, or we don't feel like they're honoring their end, then they'll fire back. And it's a lot of bluster is what I'm trying to say. The leaders of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, who met in Qatar on Monday to discuss the proposed ceasefire deal, said in a statement afterward that any agreement must lead to a permanent ceasefire, full Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, an end to the Israeli siege of Gaza, reconstruction, and a serious exchange deal between hostages in Gaza and Palestinians held in Israeli jails. And it's funny, actually, because the Israelis just actually went and saved 4 hostages out of Gaza, if you'd heard about this. But I think it resulted in about 100 casualties, which is a bit rough. But 4 to 1's a little bit of a rough exchange. But far be it for us over in the West to say much about that, considering I think the U.S. The exchange rate for casualties is much higher than that. So the war was sparked by Hamas's surprise October 7th attack in southern Israel that killed about 1,200 people, mainly Israeli civilians, and saw about 250 others taken hostage, according to Israeli tallies. About 120 hostages remain, with 43 pronounced dead. Israel's military offensive has killed more than 36,700 Palestinians and wounded in excess of 83,000 others, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Okay, can you really take that? Really take that with a grain of salt. course they're going to say that. That's not an independent source. It has also destroyed about 80% of the Gaza's buildings, according to the UN. Okay. So, I mean, it's not horrible news. I mean, there's been worse news. I guess it's good news that they're at least trying to do something. I just don't think it's real. Yet to be seen. These ceasefires, it's like dangling carrots at this point. There's all kinds of strings attached to this shit. Like look what Gaza's saying, or Hamas is saying. Like, they're giving ultimatums essentially that they know Israel won't follow through on, at least right now. So the ceasefire is kind of pie in the sky at this point. But again, I mean, it's better, at least if it puts a halt to fighting for a little bit of time, save some bloodshed. So I guess that's a good thing.